Welcome to a new way of living through my Meld Into Spirit Technique, or MIST, being the oneness. Meld Into Spirit Technique easily and naturally opens the way for being the oneness of the universal energy of love or spirit. Further, this technique offers a conscious way or methodology to achieve this state of being. Hi, I'm Paula Lenz, author of Driving into Infinity, Living with My Brother's Spirit. My journey into infinity in 1983 with my deceased brother Don led me to the technique I am sharing with you today. Sharing and helping people through my story and the Meld into Spirit technique, or MIST, is my passion. You can find more information on my website, which also includes a blog. If you don't wish to go through the entire workshop at one time, you can consider learning through one module each day as shown here. Our first step into MIST, being the oneness, starts with what I call conscientious consciousness. But what does conscientious consciousness mean? The word conscientious means faithful, careful, particular, diligent, and industrious. And the word consciousness means the quality or state of being aware, especially of something within oneself, or knowledge of one's own existence. The message is this: greater fulfillment each day in our lives by faithfully and consciously opening to and connecting with the oneness of spirit. That energy of love is right here, right now, everywhere, at all times. MIST offers a new way for being the oneness. And if we are conscientious about using this technique in moments during our daily lives, then we are able to experience more moments of being the oneness, being the pure energy of love or spirit. My watercolor painting represents our candle flame of mind, creating our multicolored thoughts that can be manifested in the pure energy of love or spirit. We will explore much more about MIST through this workshop. But so much of our time in our daily lives is filled with a myriad of emotions and problems that we focus on. See the person among the big boulders? This is how we feel much of the time, that we are a tiny dot in the scheme of life. Or imagining the universe, we feel even more insignificant. Or we get stuck in issues that make us tired, discouraged, and sad. We deal with all kinds of negative energy around us and within ourselves. Sometimes we spend a great deal of our energy fending off such negativity. But we absolutely have the power to achieve transformation and experience that freedom to fly, joy within ourselves and in our lives. We can do this by aligning our heart energy each day with spirit. That is where the Meld into Spirit technique helps us. First, we need to understand our various levels of consciousness, though, that we experience. This section explores the centers of consciousness as explained through the Handbook to Higher Consciousness by Ken Keyes, Jr. He delineates 7 centers of consciousness, the first 5 of which focus on continually judging ourselves in various ways. The last two centers, keys call the fulfilling centers. We may experience being in one consciousness center for a while and then be in a different state of consciousness at other times. Either way, though, it is important to be able to recognize where we are in terms of our consciousness center. We can then understand and recognize the difference in how we feel and what we experience through the Meld Into Spirit technique. The first three centers are categorized by keys as the three centers of unhappiness: the security center, the sensation center, and the power center. So let's explore a brief understanding of these various centers of consciousness. The security center is preoccupied with food, shelter, personal security, and the battle to get enough from the world. The sensation center focuses on finding happiness by providing yourself with pleasurable sensations and activities. The power center is concerned with dominating people and situations, increasing prestige, wealth, and pride, and exhibiting manipulation and control. Keys identifies two joyous centers, the love center and the cornucopia center. The first of the two joyous centers is the love center. Learning to see the world with feelings and harmonies of flowing acceptance, feeling compassion for those suffering, and beginning to love and accept everyone unconditionally, even yourself. The cornucopia center is about realizing you have always lived in a perfect world, freeing yourself from emotion-backed demands, being in a world that is a horn of plenty. The fulfilling centers are the sixth center of consciousness, the conscious awareness center, and the seventh center of consciousness, the cosmic consciousness center. The sixth center of consciousness, which is the conscious awareness center, can be characterized by being aware of yourself, your conscious awareness, and the daily drama of your body, your senses, your rational mind. You're still in duality. There's a fine line of separation between you and the world. The seventh center of consciousness is known as the Cosmic Consciousness Center. And in this center, you are catapulted from self-awareness into pure awareness. Body, mind, senses, and conscious awareness are not separated. One is security, sensations, power, love, and the fullness of life. The Cosmic Consciousness Center is also the highest state of consciousness attained by reprogramming self. One's thought activity is calmed, the direction of perception has shifted from subject-object manipulation through a phase of loving acceptance to a unity with everything in the environment. We can be in the seventh center state through the Meld Into Spirit technique, but it must be entered through our heart center. Let me emphasize that thought again. Mist must be entered through our heart center. This is not about thinking a meditation, but about opening our hearts and feeling the warmth of love and using our mind's eye, sight, or imagination. So you may ask, how do I know this is true? accessing the seventh center through the Meld Into Spirit technique? To answer that question, I have to relate my experience directly into infinity. Now journey back in time with me to the year 1983. This was a time that was years before the internet was available, before personal cell phones were used, and computers were not the norm in offices. I was 30 years old at the time. It's Friday, October 7th, 1983. My husband had to tell me what happened on this day. He put his hands on my arms, looked straight into my eyes, and in a trembling voice he said, "Donnie was killed in an accident this morning." His face crumpled as he spoke the words. My only brother, who was 4 years younger than me, was gone. When I was told, I had this vision of the earth falling, and shattering at my feet. And then I slumped down to the ground, crying, screaming, "No, no, no." I was completely destroyed by this loss. The grief for me was unbearable. I didn't know a human being could cry so many tears. And then, 3 days after his funeral, my brother Donnie came back to me while I was driving his personal truck and headed to my grandparents' home. Halfway there, a strange thing began happening to me. I suddenly developed 360-degree vision. I could see everything in all directions as I was driving. And at that moment, I became aware of someone just behind me on the right side with his hand on my shoulder. And then I realized and saw that it was Donnie, and I could hear him speaking to me telepathically. He told me not to be sad, that he was happy, but most of all, he wanted me to know a little of what life was like for him now. And at this moment, I left my body and journeyed with him into infinity. I experienced peace, all knowledge, and the pure energy of love that I call spirit. I wanted to remain on the other side, but my brother told me, "No, it isn't your time yet." Then I returned to my body where I was still driving. But this experience changed my consciousness and understanding of life forever. For the rest of my life, I have experienced continued outreach from my brother, and I've had a number of after effects similar to those who have had a near-death experience. I also developed increased intuition and psychic abilities. Sometimes when I'm speaking with someone, information specifically for that person will start coming in, and I have to share with them what I am being told. But the longing to experience again the complete oneness with spirit, the universal energy of love, is what guided me to develop my Meld Into Spirit technique. In this section, we explore more about mist and conduct an initial experience using the Meld Into Spirit technique video. But what is Meld Into Spirit technique? Mist is the method for connecting through our heart center, being the oneness of the universal energy of love or spirit. Let's first examine exactly what is meant by the word meld. What does that actually mean? The word means to absorb or cause to become one with something, to bring together into a united whole, to lose something's distinct outline or shape, to blend gradually or merge, and to become fused. But why do we even want to use this methodology? Why should we use this? You use the idea of consciously finding, opening, connecting with, and more naturally being the oneness with love while you're out walking. You can do it while riding a bike. You can do this out among crowds, and you can even do it at work. Using mist can elevate your energy field frequency and vibration. This impacts your aura. You can be the oneness with love in our personal life and career. You can experience rejuvenescence or renewal, revitalization, a flow of abundance. And it enables expressing, feeling love and gratitude, which opens the heart to fully embrace our oneness. Furthermore, practicing mist releases the fear of being in touch with the unknown. It opens our consciousness to potentially receive intuition, messages, visions, and guidance. And limiting beliefs and judgments can begin to fall away by using this. And it opens the way for you to become your authentic self. It's really important to understand how using mist can impact our energy frequency and vibration. One of the sources that provides some clear information can be found on a website that's bodysoulmind.net. But for more in-depth information and activities for practice, I recommend reading one of my favorite books called Frequency, The Power of Personal Vibration by Penny Pierce. Fear is a very heavy vibration and has a low frequency, versus a high frequency results from calmness, peace, love, and harmony. These are light vibrations and have a high frequency. When we stay centered and calm, we sustain a high vibration and we are empowered. When we hold this energy, we are able to live with integrity and honesty. We can speak our truths. We can be our authentic selves. Disease and illness have heavy vibrations, which block the flow of our vital life force. Healing on all levels takes place when high frequency energy is channeled and directed towards what or who needs healing. Here are some more thoughts on frequency and vibration. This is related to our loved ones who have passed on. Where do they go? They don't actually go anywhere. Where does your favorite radio station go when you move the dial and tune in to another? Right, it doesn't go anywhere. You're just not tuned into its frequency anymore. When we die, we just drop the body that has allowed us to live at the frequency of physical life, and we continue to live in a body that is attuned to a higher frequency in a world that is synchronized to that vibration. We on earth cannot see it because our physical brain isn't naturally attuned to it. So you see, they haven't gone. They're all around us. Mist is the method for connecting through our heart center, for being the oneness of spirit, the vibration and frequency of love. As I said, the connection is through your heart center. Research has shown that your heart's electromagnetic field is 100 times more powerful than that of your brain. Emotional energy determines your level of success. Connecting with your center of love or spirit, you are elevating each time your vibration and frequency. Recognize that this kind of connection is not just about the idea of spirituality, but is also about your career and your everyday personal life. Bring to bear the love of what you're doing. Find a career that offers the ability to tap into that love. Learn to see with your mind's eye. Learn to hear the guidance that can come through. Learn to feel the warmth of the pure love through your heart. Enhance your emotional energy, your passion, your energy field awareness, auras. Think of this process as though you are viewing something through a microscope. A slide is prepared, and we see something that looks one way as it is on that slide. But when we view it using a microscope, it looks completely different. And as we turn up the microscope's power, the look of what is on the slide changes again. Through the microscope, we observe at deeper and deeper levels to see the most basic of elements of what has been placed on the slide. Remember that being the oneness is a state of being joined as one thing and no longer separate. The flow, the connection of the universal consciousness, oneness, love should be integrated into everything we are and do. It is the ultimate love and power that we are all looking for in our lives. I am now provided guiding instructions here for the Meld into Spirit technique. Remember, your eyes remain open throughout this process. Once I'm done with these instructions, this will be followed by a video clip, and you can apply these instructions as you watch the video clip to help you achieve the melding into spirit. First of all, stop thinking and instead focus on and feel the love warmth in your heart chakra area. Feel that warmth of love growing there and becoming stronger in your heart. Feel yourself relaxing into that heart center of love. Now, in your mind's eye, imagine and see everything around you blurring and blending together. There are no more edges to anything. Everything is becoming all the same white light, particles of light floating and merging. Now imagine the light expanding out beyond Earth, further and further out, into the entire infinite universe, encompassing all. Everything becomes the light, and on out into infinity. As this process continues, feel how easy it is to let go of all judgment of people or issues of life. It all falls away, released easily and completely. When we feel through our heart completely free, then we easily experience being one with the universal consciousness of spirit, of the all that is. Just relax into that supportive, loving feeling. No separation of anything. You are safe. You are loved. Left behind are any human earthly worries. We are now completely one with the love, the light, the universal consciousness, as are all things. Feel the freedom, the wholeness, the peace that passes all understanding. no separation of anything. This is home, the all that is. All is well, always has been, and always will be in the space of oneness. Now in your mind's eye, imagine and see everything around you, blurring and blending together. There are no more edges to anything. Everything is becoming all the same white light, particles of light floating and merging. Now imagine the light expanding out beyond Earth, further and further out into the entire universe, encompassing all. Everything becomes the light and on out into infinity. As this process continues, feel how easy it is to let go of all judgment of people or issues of life. It all falls away, released easily and completely. When we feel through our heart completely free, then we easily experience being one with the universal consciousness of spirit, of the all that is. Just relax into that supportive, loving feeling. No separation of anything. You are safe. You are loved. Left behind are any human earthly worries. We are now completely one with the love, the light, the universal consciousness, as are all things. Feel the freedom, the wholeness, the peace that passes all understanding. No separation of anything. This is home, the all that is. All is well, always has been, and always will be in the space of oneness. When melded with spirit, my heart area becomes warm with a feeling of glowing. And when that happens, I say out loud or think, I allow and invite into my field of vibration whatever it is to be manifested, whether that's answers or guidance, events or new steps for my life, help for other people, or whatever it may be. I envision love pouring into whatever the request is or the vision. I claim that this manifests in the very highest and best way by spirit, this or something better. I then give love and gratitude for all that I am and all the help provided by actively allowing and inviting into my vibrational energy field whatever the goal, dream, or other request. Spirit then works with me for the creation and manifestation of the highest and best results. Of course, the request may not manifest in the way that I envision it. Spirit works out the highest and best for me. Remember, with practice, mist becomes easier to incorporate as part of our everyday living, a more natural way to consciously connect with spirit. By following this technique, I essentially get out of my own way and let spirit work miracles, being shown an answer, meeting someone at just the right moment who helps me move forward on a new path. A trip that was desired is suddenly created by new circumstances, and so on. But now, take a moment. Ask yourself, what did this experience of mist feel like for you? You might take a few moments now and write down some words that provide to you guidance on that feeling you experienced. This is a watercolor I painted. I wanted to illustrate the idea that there are many other energies, vibrations, and frequencies around us at all times. Everyone needs to be aware of that. If you experience discomfort or even dislike for someone, It may be that their energy, their vibration and frequency are at a vastly different level than your own. In element 3, we discuss opening the consciousness experiences. In addressing consciousness, let's see what the physics scientists say about that. Max Planck had taken the strictly physics route and come to the same conclusion. Almost 90 years ago, he said, "I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. We cannot get behind consciousness. Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing, postulates consciousness." And even Albert Einstein recognized that concerning matter, we have been all wrong. What we have called matter is energy, whose vibration has been so lowered as to be perceptible to the senses. There is no matter. In opening the consciousness experiences, we need to practice tapping into our own abilities. Some of those abilities include intuition and guidance, information or visions, and learning to see and understand auras. In cultivating our intuition and guidance, it is so important to pay attention. Do not ignore intuitive hunches or nudges to do or know a particular thing or idea. We must cultivate this ability. Learn to hear or know, and learn to trust. The same guidance applies to the idea of information and visions. Pay attention to and cultivate these abilities. Here's a suggested group activity. In an envelope, have the photo of a person known by the leader of the group. Pass around the envelope. Ask people to write down their impressions about this person. Then each person shares their impressions, followed by discussion. Here is a sample test for obtaining information. Write down the words that come to you quickly about the person shown at the left. Then words about this man are provided near the end of this workshop. There you can check your impressions against that list. Opening the consciousness experiences also includes auras. An aura is an energy field that is emitted from all living things. Most of the time, the aura is seen as layers of color around the subject. Mist can increase your energy field frequency and vibration, or your aura. Now, most likely, these example aura pictures were taken with a Kirlian camera. And the Kirlian camera photography has been debunked by science explains that the variations in color are produced by quantifiable factors. The glowing shapes appear due to the water content in the subject, which makes the air around the object become ionized when exposed to high voltage current. If the surrounding air contains any moisture, the resulting picture will contain a colorful silhouette around the object, a phenomenon scientifically called corona plasma discharge. Now, nevertheless, you can learn to see auras around others and around yourself. To see someone's aura, it is best to have a light background behind that person. And of course, you can look in the mirror to see your own aura. This is a photo of my aura that was taken at an outdoor fair recently. And as you can see, I've kept the picture that was provided because, in my opinion, it does effectively reflect through my aura colors the aspects that were going on in my life at that time. So today there's plenty of information out there on the internet about auras and even how to read an aura. So you can explore that if you are interested in pursuing this. But you can practice looking at your own aura as well as other people's auras. And really, to do that, you need to look at a person while a light background is behind them. For instance, you can look at your subject, and when you first start, focus on a small area. Usually, I focus on the area just above someone's head. On a subject, it may help to look for the aura, as I said, around the subject's head. You can use their forehead if you like as a focal point. But as you gaze at your subject, relax your eyes. Let your eyes fall a little out of focus. Continue to stare at the spot you've chosen for about 30 to 60 seconds. And soon you may see a haze develop around the edges. It might seem like a transparent or white light at first. And then, after a short time, if you manage to keep gazing, this can become the color of the aura. And if you start to see colors, they may be bright and clear, or they could be cloudy and muddy. The other aspect to this is not only might you see one color in addition to the white light around that person, but it can also be that there are several different colors, perhaps a color on the side of their arm area and another color around their head. In mentioning muddy colors, I have to relate this story about a friend of mine who had gone to the doctor. She had quite a few things wrong with her. She came back to my office, and I noticed how muddy her aura was looking. And it was yellowish muddy. And then she related to me that she had several health problems. But after a while, those were cleared up, and she actually went to someone who could help unblock some of her energy areas. And when she came back from that experience, suddenly I could see around her spontaneously develop this huge, it was non-transparent, purple aura around her. And I told her what I was seeing. But as it turns out, later, she became a gifted healer. And I believe that the day I saw her with this huge purple aura around her was the day that she actually came into her healing powers. The Meld Into Spirit technique enables you to discover your authentic self. But what does authentic self really mean? Well, the definition of authentic is not false or imitation, something that's real and actual. Being authentic is being true to one's own personality, spirit, or character. And authentic is about our true self, discovering our essence and our core self. It's helpful at this point to make a few notes in terms of answering some of these questions. For example, who do you think you are? What are those characteristics? Who do you really want to be? Are you covering up certain aspects of your true, authentic self? How do you actually want to live your life instead of perhaps what you are doing? What do you really want to do for a career? So many times we take jobs just as a stopgap, and then sometimes we never move on from that. Instead of exploring what it is that taps into our passion for what we really want to be doing in life. Experiencing mist, this brings about your dreams, your goals, and enables you to love your life and love your career. Now we're going to experience the Meld Into Spirit technique again. Now in your mind's eye, imagine and see everything around you, blurring and blending together. There are no more edges to anything. Everything is becoming all the same white light, particles of light floating and merging. Now imagine the light expanding out beyond Earth, further and further out into the entire universe, encompassing all. Everything becomes the light and on out into infinity. As this process continues, feel how easy it is to let go of all judgment of people or issues of life. It all falls away, released easily and completely. When we feel through our heart completely free, then we easily experience being one with the universal consciousness of spirit, of the all that is. Just relax into that supportive, loving feeling. No separation of anything. You are safe. You are loved. Left behind are any human earthly worries. We are now completely one with the love, the light, the universal consciousness, as are all things. Feel the freedom, the wholeness, the peace that passes all understanding. No separation of anything. This is home, the all that is. All is well, always has been, and always will be in the space of oneness. Now in Element 6, we explore the mist mission accomplished. Now that you've had a second time to experience mist, write down the answers to these questions. How did you feel this time? What did you see? What did you hear or know? What's next for you? In summary of the mist, forget all the issues in your earthly life. Feel the warmth of love in your heart chakra as it grows. Focus in your mind's eye. See blurring and blending edges of all people, things around you. All judgment falls away. See the light particles now of all blended, blurred things. All are one in the infinite universe. Experience the oneness with spirit and the freedom. Relax and let go, resting in this consciousness of oneness. The more you do this and experience the oneness, the more familiar with the feeling of warmth and love in your heart chakra area, the more times you will be able to connect easily and become one with the energy of love or spirit. When we experience the oneness, our lives will flow, and we are more open to receiving guidance, right circumstances, and right connections with others, miracles for more fulfilling lives, because it is all about the love. Remember, being the oneness. This is a state of being joined as one thing and no longer separate. Be your life in a powerful way. No one can take away your thoughts and visions. Therefore, you own the power to direct your life. Your thoughts and visions become your personal roadmap. Circumstances will develop to support that vision. Yes, our freedom to create our lives each and every day, to create our very highest and best for our own life. Yes, shine brightly as the star in your own life every day. Feel and live your joy. The message of the Meld Into Spirit technique is this: greater fulfillment each day in our lives by consciously opening to and connecting with and becoming the oneness of spirit. The energy of love is right here, right now, everywhere, at all times. The connection and being one is not only for our personal life each day, but also for our career world as well. When we allow our melding into spirit, then our consciousness is opened more to intuitive information for guidance. The information or connections can lead us to the very highest and best in our life. Please visit my website, which also has a blog, for more information regarding my book. And now, as promised, here is some information about the man in the picture. Please take a look at the words and information you wrote down. This man was my maternal grandfather. He had 2 children. His nickname was Papu, but his real name was Earl. I gave him the nickname. He lived to be 100 years old. He worked in a chemical plant for many years. He lived along the Texas Gulf Coast until retirement. He loved to go fishing and hunting, and he was loved by all the grandchildren. Remember, conscientious consciousness. Thank you for our time together.